Oh my. Toggle the wrong expression somewhere. Hang on. I didn't mean to start off so angy. Nope. There we are. That's better. Alright. That's right. Big smiles. Everyone's happy. Make sure we can see Caster Labs chat. Hide the regular chat box. Okay. I think we're finally ready to get started here. So, from the Rexworth penthouse, poolside, away from Castle Rexworth and the Rexworth estates, I bid you all good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you are, and whenever you are. My name is Rexworth, Lord Rexworth, and I welcome you to a surprise Thursday night stream, even though a lot of you got advance notice about this. Going to be doing a bit of a yap first, some React Undine, and then we're going to play some more Private Yakuza. Should be fun. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you. We're back to simulcasting, streaming across multiple platforms. You'll be seeing us tonight on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick, and we finally got Rumble working. So those of you in the Rumble audience, hello. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all so much. I do apologize because I will try to check the chat as often as I can, but right now, technical limitations prevent the Rumble chat from being integrated into Caster Labs. However, it appears they have finally made some improvements to the ability to stream to where they have something called Rumble Studio, and it is able to receive a signal from Streamlabs. Still have to hit a button to start the stream over on Rumble Studio, but we can now live stream to Rumble, which I'm very happy about because I've always wanted to do that, and I wanted it to be something a bit more easier, which I was told they were working on something like that, but just wanted to make sure it was ready for prime time before we went go on that sort of thing. So hey, you folks in the Rumble gang, you are in for a treat tonight. You get his lordship live. No longer do you have to be a part of VOD gang. What you're seeing here is live. So welcome in, everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you all. Good to see all of you over on the Kick side. I'm so sorry we haven't been streaming over there as often. YouTube audience, so sorry we haven't. You've also been a part of VOD gang as of late, mainly because I had to downgrade Streamlabs for a little while, just for budgetary reasons. But yeah, it's one of the things I wanted to talk to everyone about. I mentioned this in the Castle Rexworth Discord, which we'll put that up there along with the links for everything. You can find everything at lordrexworth.com. That's lordrexworth.com, including a link to join the Castle Rexworth Discord. That's over there on the Twitch side of chat. Yeah, I've had a lot of big life changes in the past couple of months. Yeah, it was I had a bit of a mental health crisis back in April. Things in life got really bad. I had to go on a bit of a hiatus from streaming. Wasn't sure I'd have a job. And ultimately I ended up quitting that job. But we'll get to all of that. Yeah. A couple of months ago, about 2 months ago now, I just felt like life was crashing down all around me. I had tried to put my life back together following the loss of a job, a home, and a marriage. This was 2 years ago. And, it felt like a lot of those old wounds had been freshly reopened. But, yeah, moving forward, things are going to be a little bit different from now on. I did ultimately end up quitting that old job of mine that was having a negative impact on my mental health. I was working for what turned out to be some terrible people. Really, they're just, if I could sum up, they were just a clique of mean girls who ran the department that I worked in. And I couldn't do it anymore because I felt like I wasn't really doing the job that I was hired for. I felt more like a file clerk than anything else, just sitting there in an office 3 days a week and just moving files from one cloud storage to another. And answering emails. It was an email job. There was very little to no training. What little training I did get went by really quickly. And I had this boss that just... I don't know what she really expected. I don't know if she expected me to read her mind or something, but she was a terrible boss and had a very negative impact on my mental health, and I just could not stand working for her anymore. But frankly, I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. I needed something more fulfilling and much less pointless to do for a living. So made the rather radical decision after talking about it with friends and especially with my family. And I went and got my CDL, a commercial driving license, for those of you who don't know. I live in America. I've got American citizenship, and so I enrolled in a truck driving school, took classes for about a month and got my CDL just the other day. And starting next week, I'm going to begin work as a lorry driver. I know that probably clashes with the public image that I projected, but you know what? It's honest work, and it will pay me just as much as I was making in my former field, and I've got the chance to make even more than I could imagine in the near future, and I didn't know if that was a certainty with the line of work that I was in. I just got tired of playing that white-collar corporate game. I got tired of all the bullshit, and I just wanted some more honest work. Doing something, I suppose you could say a bit simpler, but there are many complexities to being a lorry driver. No matter where you are in the world, it's actually a much harder job than you think. There's more to it than just driving the lorry. There's some other things, and that's what I spent the better part of a month learning how to do, in addition to prepping to take an state exam. So what all of this means for the VTubing side of things is that we're going to have a couple of more weekends of steady streams together, like this weekend and probably next weekend. But in about 2 weeks, I'm heading out on the road for training, and I'm going to be out of pocket for about maybe a 3 or 4 week stretch. And after that, schedule is going to be work-wise 2 weeks on, 2 days off. And when I am home on those 2 days, if I feel up to it, I will stream. If not, I'll be taking that day to rest. But we'll check in with the community over in the Costa Rica with Discord from time to time. We'll try to pop in, say hello, see how everyone's doing, even if I'm off duty while working. Yeah, so that's just how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. The days of consistent schedules for streams is kind of over for the next, I would say, 6 months to 1 year time frame. But for those of you who hung on, those of you who did not unfollow, I do appreciate your patience, and especially your support through these difficult times. And really, it just means everything. The outpouring of support, the greeting card that everyone signed and sent over to me. That was just absolutely wonderful. And yeah, it was, I believe it was collective work of Action Bastard and Pyon Lee for putting that together. So thanks to both of them. And I've still got it, and I'd look at it from time to time, and it was a really kind, very sweet gesture. So thank you all. It was Elijah who said that God has a plan for all of us, and it's just one step in the plan, and it'll all work out for the better. And you know, I actually feel like that's what's going on here. Touch wood. As I wrote in the Discord announcement, the past few months have been a very dark time for me. And thankfully, it appears the proverbial dawn is breaking once again. So, that's some good news to begin with. And that's my life update. So, an English nobleman is becoming a lorry driver. Good, honest work. And, you know me, I'm a traveller. Love travelling. What a perfect opportunity to see more of this beautiful country called the United States of America. I actually had a bit of an opportunity to do that because the state I reside in, all of their DMVs are now by appointment only. So apparently days of long lines snaking out the door to the DMV are over, but if you don't have an appointment, you're not getting in. And also, depending on which DMV you go to, appointments could be several months out. And so I ended up having to drive a total of about, about 150 miles, 75 miles going, 75 coming back, just to go get my CDL, a temporary CDL, issued. They ended up cutting up my driving license and commercial learner's permit. And, yeah. So that was a bit shocking when they did that. And right now, my driving license is in the form of a piece of paper. But they'll mail me the real thing, actual driving license card, in a couple of weeks. I'll probably have it just in time to go out on the road with my trainer. But yeah, life taking some dramatic changes here. But I'm here for it. And I've got reason to hope again. can't tell you how much anxiety I went through, to say nothing of the depression and everything else. Anxiety spiking even during the state exam, pre-trip inspection, maneuvers, and of course the road test, the actual driving road test. I failed the road test once. The way it works is you can't hit a curb. You have to take turns very slowly, otherwise it's very easy to hit a curb, either with the tractor portion of your lorry or the trailer portion. And if you hit a curb, it's an automatic fail. Well, first round of the road test, I hit a curb. And that was embarrassing. So I ended up having to come back and retake that portion. But second time was a charm, and I passed. And even though I was shitting bricks the entire time, I made it through. I think nerves just ultimately got to me. I have got the worst test anxiety. I suppose it comes with the territory of having general anxiety like I do. So, but, you know, everything else went well. I suppose in a way I've got boasting rights that I know how to parallel park a lorry. Not many people can lay claim to that, but I do know how to parallel park a lorry. It's not easy. There's a technique to it. You have to get it lined up in near the spot just so. And there is a series of turns that you have to execute on the steering wheel in order to get that just right. We started off to the left of the spot that needed to be parallel parked into, and I still remember the technique. It is, even though I'm probably never going to use it ever again, one revolution to the left on the steering wheel, back it up just a bit until one of your bumpers is lined up with a line of cones, because everything's surrounded by cones with the spot that you have to park it in. Then hard to the right, steering wheel all the way to the right, straighten up the tractor with the trailer, back it up a bit until fifth axle is over a checkered line, then hard to the left, all the way, steering wheel all the way to the left, until you bring your third axle onto that same checkered line, and just straighten it up, and then you have to back it up. And the way the space is set up, you've got these two smaller rectangles within a larger rectangle, and part of your maneuvers is pulling forward and doing a straight line back, and then you have to back up your tractor and trailer with the parallel maneuver. In both instances, either your front or your rear bumper have to be in the smaller boxes, the smaller rectangular boxes. And if it's not, then the maneuvers are incomplete and you'll fail. So, bumper has to be in the box. It was a mighty struggle because my tractor and trailer did not want to cooperate with me that day. I probably lost some points having to keep pulling forward and straightening up. But ultimately completed the maneuvers. You can't just do whatever you wish. Now go do the tasks and leave the fish. Nox, welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, there's a certain way and order to things. With test maneuvers for the state exam, you have to pull all the way forward, do a straight line back, then pull off to the left side in the form of an offset forward, and then you have to do an offset parallel park. Like my rhymes? Yes, I do. They're very good rhymes, and you chose the perfect times. You're a poet, and your mum didn't even know it. The offset parallel is very challenging. It is a maneuver that I think on American roads you will never use that. Probably a more relevant maneuver to have test takers perform would be an alley dock. Alley docking is a series of very sharp turns to try and back a trailer into a very narrow alleyway dock. You probably see more of that than anything. But even still, most of the time it's just going to be your standard straight line backing. I'm now watching on my phone, good lord, while typing on a good keyboard. Ah, excellent. Well, whichever platform you happen to be watching on, welcome. It's good to see you. It's good we're simulcasting once again. I missed being able to do that. I missed being able to stream for our YouTube and Kick audience, and I always wanted to be able to live stream for Rumble. I've always really admired and liked the Rumble platform. One of my favorite VTubers, Zatris, is over on Rumble most of the time exclusively. Along with Confused Coast, another favorite VTuber of mine. And I admired them for sticking through all the technical gremlins and challenges and loopholes and hoops you have to jump through in order to stream on Rumble. And it seems now they've finally made things easier for people to stream over on that platform. Connected the keyboard from my tablet to my phone. Oh, excellent. Yeah, certain phones, they will work with Bluetooth keyboards, or keyboards meant for tablets. And that can be helpful. Especially if you have a Samsung phone operating in DeX mode. By the way, you're seeing that over on the Twitch chat, everyone. New sponsorship added. Go to thedragonstreasure.com/Lord Rexworth. That's thedragonstreasure.com/Lord Rexworth. And get yourself some tea. Save 10% off your entire order when you use the code Lord Rexworth at checkout. Now I can watch in full screen and just type, so don't mind my typo as well. We'll try. I'll try to divine what you're actually saying. Can't see it till I hit enter. Well, there's the trade-off to all of that, isn't it? But yeah, that's what I've been up to the past month or so. Finally got it done and embarking on a new career. Anyways, been on Deltarune. I've no idea what Deltarune is. Right. I think it's enough yappy yap about IRL. Also nice, glad to hear. Well, thank you. You know what Undertale is? Sounds vaguely familiar. But, not really, no. Right, let's do some reacts. Got some videos to take a look at. Basically, Undertale and another timeline. Ah, I see. Unhide cast alarms. Hide the Twitch chat box. There we go. Let's see, we need to do a window capture. There we are. Alright, chat. So, the first thing we want to start off with is a game I very much want to play when it comes out. If you've heard of IO Interactive, you've probably heard of the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. We played the games on stream before. Well, they've got a new one they're working on with Amazon MGM Studios. It's a James Bond title. It's called 007, First Light. I've worked for 12 hours tomorrow, so yay. I'm gonna be sunburned to hell and back. Eek. You have my sympathy. I know a bit about what that's like. With the CDL training that I was doing, we were out in a truck yard for most of the day, and especially those first few days. Yeah, I got pretty badly sunburnt on the arms and on my neck. Seemed like no amount of sunscreen, be it SPF 70 or SPF 100, would do the job. Thankfully, though, it seems to be fading finally, now that I don't have to be out in that truck yard all day. And, yeah, getting better. Having to rub copious amounts of aloe vera on it. And a lidocaine aloe vera mix. Ruby Gemstone, thank you for redeeming first. Welcome in. And Green Skull, welcome. Hello, hello. Don't turn unless, like that YouTube red, so it hurts. Yeah, mine definitely goes red. It's, yeah. Not sure if that's the Scottish in me or maybe that's the touch of Irish that's in me, and I don't know. We know it's something from the British Isles. I've just been trying to get it to fade and also keep myself moisturized so my skin doesn't start looking like it's well-tanned leather. Been putting copious amounts of a mixture of olive oil, beeswax, honey, and royal jelly on it, and that seems to be doing the trick, so... yeah. By the way, sunburns are bad for the both of us. Yes, they are. Actually, sunburns in general are bad for everyone. Some people, they tend to naturally just go tan. The bastards. But still, it can result in long-term damage to your skin,
I will
so...
send you to Jesus.
Thank you for the redeem. But yeah, if you do find yourself outside during these summer months in the Northern Hemisphere, chat, please, please, please do make sure that you have put on plenty of sunscreen. Get a high SPF number, something like 70 up to 100. I would say actually use an actual like lotion or something that you can rub into your skin. They do have the spray-on sunscreen. I don't... it is questionable whether or not it works. Believe me, I tried it myself. I had an SPF 100 spray-on sunscreen, and some days I don't think it did a damn thing for me. Going to be 105 degrees outside for me next Tuesday. Good God. That's too hot. That's just too hot. That is way too hot. Anyway, let's check out this trailer. It's for 007 First Light. Announcement trailer from IO Interactive. Pausing the music here. Let's make this full screen. And, unmute our browser audio. 13 degrees for me. That is... hang on a minute. I have to convert that over to freedom units. I've lived in America for so long that I only think in terms of imperial measurements. "55 degrees Fahrenheit. I think we're all collectively jealous of you right now, Green Skull. How dare you share some of that cool air with the rest of us. Anyway, let's finally watch this trailer.
His parents cut their own rope to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain.
They're actually incorporating the Ian Fleming origin story of James Bond from childhood into this, though that's a bit more dramatic. I don't think Bond was there when his parents died. But yes, James Bond was an orphan. Parents were killed in a climbing accident.
He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Always at odds with authority. Same thing in the Navy.
Oh
His
no,
superiors
can't have
all
that.
trace his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way.
This apparently is the new M.
What he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless.
I don't know if that's Tanner or not.
The blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway. It's really
Oh,
quite
that
simple.
is Greenway, not
Bond
Tanner.
is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
There's our man.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
I believe the gentleman there to the left is supposed to be one Major Geoffrey Boothroyd, better known to us as Q. And the lady he was just talking to, I believe that is supposed to be the current rendition of Eve Moneypenny.
So you shouldn't have.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Exactly.
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
009 is a master manipulator. Whatever the endgame is, we won't see it coming. See it coming.
So, hang on. Let's go back.
Master manipulator. Whatever the endgame is, we won't see it coming.
It was hard to see there. I couldn't pause it just so. Right. Pinky ring. Oval-shaped. Looks familiar. Difficult to see if there's an octopus on there. If there were, it would be a sign that this person is an agent of Spectre. Possibly even Blofeld. That remains to be seen, though.
Coming.
Jet lag. Gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
With respect, Mom. To hell with that.
Yeah, that's the sort of defiance that we started seeing beginning back in the Living Daylights. The sort of stuff my orders, go on, tell him whatever you want. If he fires me, I'll thank him for it. Which is very true to the books themselves. Bond was always a man on the edge. He was always probably 1-2 steps away from just telling M and MI6 to just fuck off and go do his own thing. I haven't seen the Bond series. I have them all, but I haven't seen them. Definitely worth going back and rewatching. And to give you an idea of probably the most true to the books version of James Bond, go watch the Timothy Dalton films. The Living Daylights and License to Kill. Timothy Dalton's performance, I think, perfectly captures what Fleming had in mind for the character of James Bond, because he went back and reread all of the Bond novels to try and capture the character perfectly on film. What's Spectre? Spectre, long-time villainous organization that spanned across multiple movies, starting with Dr. No and ending around Diamonds Are Forever. And it's actually an acronym. It's called the Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. And headed up by a man named Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Yeah, of every film they ever made of James Bond. Yeah, definitely go back and watch Living Daylights and License to Kill. You'll get probably the best depiction of James Bond, in my view, the closest to the Ian Fleming novels. Though, you know, personally, I rather like the... Sean Connery set the gold standard. Sir Roger Moore, he definitely brought a lot of suaveness to his portrayal of Bond. The first couple of movies were a bit rough, especially Live and Let Die. Though I rather liked Man with a Golden Gun. That was a good one. Especially going up against Christopher Lee, Scaramanga. That was a good one. But probably one of his best ones, I think. Two of his best films. The Spy Who Loved Me and For Your Eyes Only. Oh, we get the Aston Martin DBS, the old one. I think that's the DBS. It could be the Vantage.
Lately, headhunting.
The new Bond girls are cute. Oh, I like that.
I suppose this is another teachable moment.
A little nod to a scene involving Felix Leiter. In the book version, it was in Live and Let Die. Movie version, they put that one in License to Kill. But yeah. Oh, and they got the scar on Bond's cheek. It was always something that Ian Fleming wrote about when he described James Bond as having a scar on his right cheek. They never put that into the films, but much easier to do with a video game. And looks like a bloke named Patrick Gibson is voicing and portraying the new James Bond. It sort of makes sense that they would. Though they would go younger. I know people have said that origin stories are getting a bit tired lately. Bit overdone. But I think to really make a good James Bond game these days, you have to sort of... You have to provide the player with choices. Choices that they have to make. And to give them a lot of those choices and give them a lot of freedom.
Screw the rules, I have money.
To do that, you sort of have to take them back in time to the beginning. A lot of people want to be James Bond. Men want to be James Bond. Women want to be with James Bond. But as much as it is awesome to play old James Bond games like GoldenEye or Everything and Nothing, some of these other really good James Bond titles. Nightfire's another one. GoldenEye, Rogue Agent. So many of those, story-wise, Bond is already established as who he is. As the super spy who can get the job done. First Light is different to where this is an untested James Bond. This is a newly minted James Bond. This is a much younger James Bond. This is someone who is untested, untried. And for a lot of us, were you to put us in a scenario where we were expected to be James Bond or a James Bond-like character, I think the imposter syndrome would break us all, thus necessitating the need to go back in time to the beginning. To a freshly minted 007 who's working on getting his license to kill. That's something that I think is a bit more realistic these days. Just the setting alone of a greenback 007 working on getting his 00, working on getting his license to kill. That's something that's a bit more believable. That's something that you can really transport the player into. And the sense of accomplishment of once you get there, of once you have the license to kill, once you have your 00 number, that sense of accomplishment is all the sweeter, all the more fulfilling and satisfying. Well, I have to admit, I'm James Bond. Yep, the real one. Ah. I knew you were around somewhere. Twitch is messing up. Sounds like you're talking after inhaling helium. What? Little too early. Maybe you just need to, refresh the stream, Nox. But anyways, that's good. We'll give that a like. So, we're going from something cool, something exciting, to something funny. Tony from LC Sign. Let's take a look.
Just want to know how much it would cost to turn your logo into something like this?
Don't care. Anyways,
don't care if you don't care.
We don't care that you don't care that we don't care. Anyways, this is for my homie Tony. Look like you haven't slept in a while, so I got the Slumber Night motion bed here for you. It lights up just like your signs.
Anyways, this is for my homie from the best to go. Thank you for your mattress, but I usually sleep on my signs. Anyways, we've been making signs for more than 15 years.
That's cool that they did that. That is awesome. It's fixed now. I just found it hilarious. What was that? Fat stack of cash. Him and the missus is going to arm wrestle over that or something. Oh. That's not fair.
Best service, best factory, best LED sign. Any size, any shape, any color can be customized.
It's a T1 Pro. It feels like purple and white.
No glue, no gaps. It feels like black and red. And come with a 3 years warranty. We've been making signs for more than 15 years.
If you're a boy and you want to turn a girl on, then this video is for you.
Not interested. Here's how to turn on
What?
the LED sign made an LC sign.
Bentley.
iPhone 17.
Rolls Royce.
Neon sign. Neon sign made by LC sign. High quality acrylic.
Yes, I'm a trans woman. I'm a doll. Like, what is so different about dating me than a cis woman?
You have the dick, bro.
Yeah. That's a man, baby. Yeah.
Anyways, we work closely with DHL, UPS, and FedEx as VIP partners.
1, she's a female. 2, she's not a boy. And 3, and most importantly, she's a girl.
Why are you gay?
Anyways, how to know your
Yeah.
sign company's
Why are you
trustworthy
gay?
is by confirming the sign before shipping.
You know, I really take pride in the fact that I really think I'm like the first straight guy to get long, funky nails like this.
If you're not gay, then I'm the real Donald Trump. China, China.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy looked totally gay. The signs. That's cheating,
Look,
bro.
a clean and well-packed sign is important to customer experience. Anyways, looking for something that makes your storefront stand out?
Dating is so hard. Why can't I find anyone to love me?
I do not know. Maybe it's because you are ugly. Anyways, a clean and well-packed sign is important to customers' experience. So LC Sign would clean the sign, wrap with EPE and wrap with firm cotton, cut the packaging to minimum to save the customers money on shipping and prevent damage. And we have DDP service if there are tariff for professional franchise sign, come to LC Sign.
All right. That's a good one. We love Tony from LC Sign. Let's see. Oh. Chat. Don't know if you know anything about... Well, we're going to do some video react on cars. I think it was the late 1960s, early 70s. Chrysler Corporation came out with an interesting car. You could tell it was the height of the jet age. They developed a turbine car. Saw the New Vegas speedrun video, the Lucky 38 with the 30 seconds. Oh, our speedrunners got to New Vegas in 30 seconds. Oh, good for them. Matthew, hello, hello. How are the Rex? How's it going today? Oh, it's going all right. How are you? Anyways, interesting concept. Chrysler coming up with a turbine car. I think it only had like a little over 100 horsepower. But over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Anyways, let's take a look at it. I always thought it was a cool car. And the only thing that stopped them from bringing it to market was EPA regulations, environmental regulations. I love New Vegas. I can gamble without losing real money. Doing well, just chilling as usual. Home sitting while my folks are away. Hey, sounds relaxing. Let's see. Oh. There's a car review from Seta Intuned. A Subaru Legacy. We might need to take a look at that later. Oh, that sounds so cool.
That's not a normal engine.
No, Tommy. That is the turbine car.
This is the 1963 Chrysler turbine car, one of the most legendary American cars of all time. And in this video, we're going for a ride in the turbine car, one of just 9 remaining. And we're going to bust some myths and find out why this car never made it into production.
That looks so cool, chat. The Chrysler turbine.
The transmission tunnel on this car is so cool.
That is truly one of...
I mean, look at it. It's just... They incorporated turbines into the interior design. And it looks like all the switches were just like hand carved out of a lump of aluminium. The radio, the retro radio. It looks so cool. Even the place where you put the key in to turn it on. Look at that. That is cool. Oh, that car's in my grandpa's neighbour's old car lot. What, he had a Chrysler turbine? Could have used that car in the live-action 66 Batman show. They could have. Very well could have. It's rusted and overgrown, but that's the car. They really should get that restored then.
Most over-designed and yet unbelievably functional set of controls. Look at that. Is that the shifter?
Park is down, neutral, and you'll see it here. I'll go into drive.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is very cool. Yeah, everything about the design on this car
aircon
is
controls?
so forward-looking. Well, absolutely love that bit of design at the front.
This is like one of the last truly forward-thinking type automobiles. Everything just started going to shit after that. And you had a bit of a renaissance in the 80s. And then after that, everything started going to shit again. Take a photo next time I'm there. Yeah, post it in the car section on the Discord when you get a chance.
Tunnel. And the gauges
I
are
wish
also
those
really
cars
cool.
existed,
you've
not
got
the electric cars.
speed
Yeah.
tachometer and then a pyrometer, right?
Yes.
And I guess the pyrometer is for the inlet.
It is. Right now we're at 13,000. I'm sorry, 1,300.
Nice. And then what would be a regular operating range temperature for this car that you'd like to see?
We like to keep it around 13. As I accelerate, I'll see it go up to 15, but it comes right back.
The other interesting thing about this car is right around 130 horsepower, but over 400 pound-feet of torque, right?
Yes. So it's equivalent to like a small diesel.
Wow.
The feel of it, you know.
Yeah, very
Right.
torque heavy.
Yeah, and a little bit of lag in the acceleration when you press the pedal?
No, not really. Just
not too much.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like you're taking off.
Case, this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now, the experience I would equate this most to that people might understand is like an EV, right?
Yeah.
So you do get the sensation of shifting because it does have a more conventional automatic transmission, but as you kind of glide down the road, there is almost no feedback from under the hood that anything is happening that shouldn't be happening, right?
And it's so interesting that people talked about this car being very loud because it makes a bit of noise if you're standing right at the front end, but especially from sitting inside the car, it's really not particularly loud at all.
100%. Yeah, I mean, you can barely hear this little whir of that turbine spinning away.
Yeah, and it rejects the very well insulated cabin, and they're able to have a normal conversation. I doubt they're using much noise reduction or filters on the audio post-production.
Tens of thousands of
Look at the
RPM.
gauges
I
behind
think the peak is something like 60,000 RPM.
Yep, right
And
now
the
we're
wheels.
about 25 as I accelerate a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll let back off and it'll go to 22.
It is so cool. The gauge layout is very cool. Tell me, these 3 dials right here on the tunnel next to the parking brake, what are those guys?
We have lower rear defrost and interior lights.
Okay, so just some basic controls for some of the interior functions of the car.
From a ride quality standpoint, it rides like a 1960s boat, right? So it kind of looks small and compact on the outside, which I think it largely is, but it definitely has that classic mid-60s American float to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very much, it rides like a land yacht, which many of the higher grade cars back in those days, that's exactly how they rode. Especially higher grade Cadillacs, Lincolns, Buicks, those sorts of cars. That's exactly the sort of feeling you get. Well, even certain Chevrolets and Fords would do the same.
Yeah, it's definitely, it doesn't feel like it's set up to be a sports car, which makes sense with...
Yeah, no. Back then, you had to choose one or the other. You could get luxury land yacht that would just sort of float and glide on the road, or you could get sports car that is grounded and you feel everything. There was no luxury sports car or sport luxury car. It was either one or the other. This idea of having both in one car is actually a relatively recent concept from, gosh, I would say probably early 90s, something like that. Maybe sometime in the 80s. But before that, you had to choose. What did you want? Did you want a luxury car? Did you want a sports car? You can't have both. You know what I find kind of dumb? How Superman could put on a pair of glasses and no one notices him. He did at IRL and no one noticed him. Yeah, best not to think too much about it, Knox. I would go for a grounded sports car. I might as well... I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit more of a luxury car person myself. If I had to go for a classic car, it would probably be a 1991 560 SEL from Mercedes. Closest thing I would want to an older sports car is maybe an R107 560 SL. Little two-seater roadster.
130 horsepower. I don't think that was the intention for it. Now, one question I do have, as far as fuel, when you guys are running it for a demonstration like this, what do you usually put in it?
We're running it on kerosene.
Kerosene, okay.
Kerosene.
Which kerosene is essentially a jet fuel, right?
Yes.
Would be
I mean, it is a turbine-powered car, so you do have to put jet fuel in it.
basically the same thing. And do you feel like it runs best on kerosene, or does it run pretty similar on other fuels?
Since I've been here for 20 years, we've never ran on anything but kerosene.
Todd, have you several times...
That must be so weird to have to put kerosene in instead of petrol or diesel. Rex becoming James Bond. Becoming? Bold of you to assume I'm not already.
Gotten to drive the turbine car, or is this the first time you're getting to operate it?
No, we have to load it on and off a truck all the time, of course. Semis, but we've had to do a little events like this.
Okay.
So,
and where does this one typically live?
This one lives right here in Detroit at one of our facilities.
Okay. This is very cool. And there's only 9 of them still around, right?
Yes.
So what is your impression?
Yeah, Chrysler did not make too many of these cars. They made probably a dozen of them, and they were, I guess, an early form of a lease to loyal previous Chrysler owners. It was meant as sort of a testing bed, or sort of test item to see, 1, if they could do it, and 2, if anyone would buy it. You know, to see if people liked it or not. And people did like them. But the thing that ultimately did them in with the turbine was the emission standards, EPA regulations, starting in the early 1970s. They were going to bring this car to market. But no way in hell would it ever pass the emissions regulations. That exempted now because it's an older classic car. But back then, when these were new cars, it just would not have been possible. Because as we all know, jet engines, they spew out pollutants like no one's business. Oh, they made 55. Okay. I thought they only made like a dozen or so. 5 experimental, 50 for public tests.
Impression of driving it. How do you feel about this car?
Power-wise, you mentioned the torque and horsepower. It's about like a 318 is how it feels.
Yeah.
But of course, the jet sound, I mean, it's incredible.
And is it a 3-speed
that is so cool.
It's a 3-speed torque flight trans that's been modified.
3-speed automatic.
It doesn't have a torque converter. It has a gear reduction system that's 10-to-1.
And I know
because of the RPM.
One of the proposed advantages of the turbine engine was a relatively easy maintenance interval.
Oh, yes.
And
a small turbine like that, very easy to maintain. Much easier than automobiles that we have even now. But, yeah, not as emissions friendly, unfortunately.
Life. So, for you guys keeping this car running, is it relatively simple?
Yes, it is. We have to be cautious with the few hoses that it has, and I say that because it doesn't have antifreeze.
Yeah.
It has transmission fluid, which runs through the engine and the power steering system. Other than that, it has brake fluid. That's it.
So compared to some of the other cars in the collection, this is maybe on the easier side to keep running.
Yes, that part of it. There's no tune-up. We're not changing plugs or wires.
Yeah.
It just...
Sounds, though, if there's no antifreeze or anything, doesn't sound like this would operate very well in extreme temperatures, like freezing cold weather. What you're watching? We are watching a test drive of an old Chrysler concept car, the Chrysler Turban. Out of 55, 9 are in good condition, 3 are drivable, the rest are either rusted like the one next door, or returned and smelted down. Yeah, that's the tragic part of it all, isn't it?
It just runs.
That's very cool. And have you all measured, because I know
Imagine if
it's
this
a lot
car
of
had
people's
jet
question,
wings on there, right?
the temperature of the exhaust at the back of the car. Have you guys measured usually what the temperature is from the gas there?
No, we never have. Unlike the old superstitions where you're going to burn the pavement or start grass on fire, you can put your hand all the way up to the exhaust.
Okay.
It's hot, but you're not going to get burnt.
Yeah, so it's hot like any normal combustion engine exhaust would be.
Yes.
And it seems like there's a lot of misconceptions about this car because people talk about them being very loud. People talk about how hot the exhaust was. But it seems like many of those things are now being up close to the car, riding in it and experiencing it, not necessarily true.
Right.
So a lot of fake news, a lot of old wives' tales, a lot of unsubstantiated rumors and straight up lies being told about this car. So that people can chase clout and get attention. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Well, no, I'm actually not shocked at all. Sounds like it might break. In extreme weather, an older car like this, yeah, that does seem a concern.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about this vehicle?
Probably just what you touched on, the flames out the back and burning stuff. And,
yeah.
And the best part is if you look at the back, your taillights are shaped like cones, like they would be thrust coming out of it.
Yeah.
People walk behind it and put their hands up to it.
They're worried.
Like they're going to get burnt. But they don't.
And it's cool looking underneath the car because it's an absolutely massive outlet, or the 2 outlets in the rear.
Yes.
They're pretty huge.
Yeah, way down bottom.
Those are the tailpipes, chat. Those are the tailpipes. That's what a tailpipe looks like on a Chrysler Turban. Trying to warn people about not buying the car. I don't know. If I were back in the 1960s and 1970s, I would want a car like this. This is cool.
Baffles.
And it is amazing because we're driving over some undulations in the road and the car is exceptionally smooth. Like we said, not only in the powertrain, but the suspension is very, very smooth. And it is, I saw leaf springs in the rear. I'm thinking leafs in the front as well.
It's coil in front.
Coil in the front, okay.
It's torsion bar, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So it's production B body.
Yeah.
In brakes are the same. So I could actually order a 63 Belvedere set of brake shoes.
Really?
And it'd be the same. Yeah.
Very cool. So this is just about probably the coolest B body that exists.
Amazing. You can still find stock parts for this sort of car.
Yeah, it's got that normal Chrysler 60 and 70s.
Yeah, kind of like 2 fingers.
Little floaty feeling. So almost an overpowered.
Yeah, very. I don't know if you call it spongy, but very soft steering. Not very precise. Again, this is not tuned and set up like a sports car, so it's not going to be very responsive. But it does appear that he does have power steering. Which, hey, that's good.
Power steering.
Overall, drives a lot like a luxury car.
Yes.
Are the brakes pretty light as well?
Yeah, it does have power brakes. So the brakes are like production B body, really. So
very skinny steering wheel.
There's
no airbag there in the center, so that cuts down on the thickness. There are no airbags in this car. I mean, it's the 1960s. So they didn't have airbags. back then. Airbags only started becoming a thing in the 80s.
Pull.
Yeah.
So it's,
And do you know how many miles are on this particular car?
this one here is showing 29,314.
Interesting.
Barely
So
broken
do you
in.
know, was this one of the 5 prototypes for Chrysler, or was this one of the 50 cars that were sent out to people to test?
I don't know that. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's any documentation of which
Of
ones
the
are
history
which,
of this in particular?
Brent would be a good
That
one
sort
to
of thing
check
can be
out.
hard
Yeah.
to track
But
down
we'll definitely interview him,
sometimes,
talk
depending
to
on
him,
the company.
but this is just such a special experience. We get to do a lot of cool things at this job, and riding in this vehicle is right up there at the top. I've got to imagine that this is not a bad day of work for you either.
It's not too bad.
Any anxiety around driving it, since it is such a piece of history? And
Yeah, there's always that.
Yeah.
I'm watching out for bicycles.
At
and
least
stuff
a
like
little
that.
bit.
yeah, watching the temperatures, making
Yep.
sure that everything is where it should be. But I'm amazed just how well behaved this car is. What do you think, Tommy? Any other points or questions?
Well, I think the weird thing about it is it shifts, so you can actually feel it shift as you drive along, but you don't actually hear an RPM change.
Yeah.
So the engine maintains a constant 30,000 RPM, for example, if you're under acceleration, and you can feel the trans shift, but you don't get that kind of audible, all right, the engine's working hard here, or it's not working hard here. It's a really interesting experience.
Yeah, it feels like it's got a very smooth baseline, you know? It never really feels like the car is struggling.
I mean, look, I think that it's a very, very, very cool piece of technology. And I definitely understand why it cemented itself as being one of the most significant cars in the Chrysler history book. But from an actual, is it better than a V8? If you care about smoothness and smoothness alone, yes. But just from a cost per unit and development cost, I do understand why it would be hard to make the business case.
There's no but, Tommy. This is cool. I wish they had made more. Tommy, it seems like most of the noise from this car is coming from the front.
Yeah, dude.
It's not actually that loud at the back.
It legitimately sounds like an airplane.
Yeah, it really does. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
So guys, my buddy
I
Clayton,
wonder why.
who do you work for?
I work with driving.ca, and I came prepared because I always had a question about these cars.
Yeah, so we've always wondered, like, can you melt someone's feet by standing too close to a turbine car? So I'm pretty close. I'm still
right.
alive.
So the pavement underneath the exhaust, 103.
Okay.
Pavement not under the exhaust is 103. It's the same. Temperature of the exhaust pipe itself, 196 Fahrenheit. And right there at the outlet, like 120.
Yeah, maybe don't touch
So
the
pavement
tailpipe.
underneath it, not that hot. It's a 85.
It's a hot
degree
day out there.
anyways. Regular pavement, I don't know if you can see, about 107 anyway, so it doesn't substantially like melt the pavement or anything. It's not hotter than like a normal exhaust, I don't think.
Now, standing right behind the car, like right here, you can definitely feel it on your legs.
Feel the draft. Here, wait, where do you feel on your legs?
Kind of like right here.
Okay. I will test. Your leg is approximately 133 degrees. That's pretty toasty. My leg is 93. So that's a 40-degree difference.
So you definitely feel the heat coming off, but you're going to feel similar heat standing behind
any car, really.
Any car, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Now we know. It won't burn your legs.
So Tommy, we've got a view under the hood of the turbine car. This is pretty cool.
Oh.
One of the first things that greets you is this Chrysler crest. It says Chrysler Corporation and turbine over the top of it. And then of course the actual engine itself, the turbine, looks nothing like anything you've seen
That
under the hood
looks
of any
cool.
other vehicle.
And what's crazy is it's actually really small, right?
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
It's pretty compact.
Probably the size of, what, a couple watermelons?
How many watermelons and what size? That's an interesting size.
Oh,
comparison.
that's about
two
4
watermelon engine, I
watermelons there.
From a size standpoint.
Not in displacement, but in overall volume.
In overall volume, yeah. But like, look,
We would
it's
measure
very
it as
compact,
4
and the craziest part is
watermelons.
the cooling system. There's no conventional radiator. Instead, you get these little coils,
Yeah.
and that's all you got. That's what keeps this engine at
That's
1300
it.
degrees.
Yeah, extremely basic. The other cool thing here, I love these headlight buckets. They're absolutely massive, and it looks like the intake of a jet engine, but it is just the headlight surround. And the styling of this car is really interesting. So apparently, the guy who designed this was Elwood Engel, who designed the Ford Thunderbird, and you can see a little bit of similarity.
Okay,
between
now it
this
all
car
makes
and that.
sense.
100%.
And I love the Thunderbird.
Same bloke who made the Thunderbird.
This is way cooler.
We are here with a really
Nice pair of melons you got there, my.
And what's your title? What do you do?
I'm manager of historical services for Stellantis. So basically, I manage the vehicle collection and the corporate archives.
So all these cars that you see out here today for the celebrating the Chrysler 100th anniversary, these are all kind of under your these are your babies.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Yes. And I have two very talented gentlemen that keep them running because I don't have that ability.
Fair enough. Well, we're here with probably one of the most iconic Chrysler products of all time. So we've got the hood pop right now, and I was wondering if you could kind of walk me through what we're looking at and the basics on how it works.
Well, it's the regenerative turbine engine. Basically, it's got one spark plug, no pistons.
Okay.
Think early turboprop or turbine technology.
Yeah.
All right. They started working on these engines in 1954, and the program lasted all the way up till 1981. Wow. This is the third generation turbine.
They kept working on this until the early 80s.
An airbox, the batteries in the rear, and it's really a simple engine, basically. It runs at 23,000 RPM, and at 1,500 degrees, it's comfortable.
Unreal.
So temperature is the enemy of the engine. So that's why we've been very gentle with it all day today on a hot day.
Yeah.
So it and the idea of the whole turbine thing was 80% less parts than a standard internal combustion engine. Like I said, one spark plug would be simplicity.
Okay.
The problem is building it wasn't simple. The metals, the ceramics, all the special materials that went into it is really what drove the cost so far up that it really never became practical.
So this turbine, was it built in-house by Chrysler, or
Yes.
was it, okay?
In Dearborn, Michigan.
Wow.
They had a plant over there special to put them together.
Unreal.
The chassis was built here. The body and the interior were made by Ghia in Italy.
Oh, okay. So the body was made by Ghia, which also makes sense. You see a lot of Ghia design flourishes and touches to that. Yeah, I have to. This was before they, like with some trucks, they would. Mycian Finder 91. Thank you for the follow. Looks like you're over on Kick. Thank you very much. Yeah, the notion of going to a third party, like Cummins, for example, but an engine, that didn't really come up until, that was more of an 80s, 90s thing when they started doing that. And I think that was mostly with the Dodge line of trucks. Had Chrysler outsourced the actual turbine engine manufacturing to, say, Boeing or maybe Bell Labs or Lockheed Martin or someplace like that, or maybe General Dynamics, I wonder if they could have made it more viable that way, just outsourcing the making of the turbine engine to them, or maybe even to Rolls-Royce over in Britain. Maybe it would have been more viable that way. We'll never know.
So they were made back at the Dearborn plant.
So I guess my question is, if this engine runs at 1,300 RPM, or sorry, 1,300 degrees Fahrenheit, why aren't there radiators everywhere? I mean, how does the temperature cooling work on this vehicle?
Well, there's a large baffled exhaust.
Okay.
Okay, it's very thick, and it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So that dissipates the heat by the time it makes it to the rear of the car.
Huh.
You can walk up and put your hand behind it.
Okay.
Okay, but we've had this at car shows on lawns where we started it throughout the day, and by the end of the day, the grass is burnt there.
Okay.
So it does generate the
So
heat. It does
that's
install,
where they
but
got it from.
It's not throwing fire out the back or anything.
And does it use a traditional automatic? How does the transmission work?
It is it's a modified 727.
Okay.
So anything else that was in a Chrysler product at the time, they just modified it a bit where it mounted pretty much. So it was pretty, off the shelf stuff.
Yeah. So we're looking at a car now that's going on 60 years old, and it's a car that we've been cruising around in all day today. So what does it take to keep this machine running?
Well, babying it for the most part.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to
you can't
have,
push it too hard.
a gentleman that Bill Carey, he's a retired Chrysler guy, and when this program was going on, he would go around to the dealers. They sent these vehicles around the country to private families.
How many families in total?
200 families across the country. 50 of the cars were shipped out. 55 were built. 50 were shipped out for this program, so all the families got them for 3 months at a time. And Bill would go around to the dealerships and teach the technicians how to take care of them. We were fortunate enough to have Bill teach my guys how to take care of them.
Unreal.
Basically, don't mess it up. Don't overheat it.
Okay.
Good advice.
Because you're not going to be able to repair it. And there aren't any more engines.
So this is what you got.
Yeah.
So
Don't
in
break
the
it.
program, were people generally pretty satisfied with the reliability? Did they hold up?
People liked it. I
Okay.
mean, what they liked was the immediate heat it had when in the winter, in the cold months.
Okay.
Like if you're in Chicago or somewhere and you had immediate heat in the car.
Yeah, interesting.
Everybody enjoyed it. They enjoyed the attention they got. All the neighbors would come running and everybody else. And
No,
being in
I'll
Detroit,
bet.
a lot of them ended up running around.
Probably go
Detroit.
boom if it's overused. Yeah.
People taking them
No,
home
it
from
would,
corporate
engine would
or
just
whatever.
blow.
So wherever we go, somebody's like, the guy down the street had one of those, brought it home, and we all got a ride in it.
Yeah.
And everybody remembers it. But overall, the reception was real positive. People liked it.
So, Brant, I made a list. I did some preliminary research on this car and made a list of things that have been generally circulated online.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me whether or not they're true or whether it's a myth.
Okay.
So one of the things I read a bunch about these cars is they can run on pretty much anything combustible.
That's correct.
Okay.
Anything really, except for leaded gasoline.
Okay.
Leaded gasoline will leave deposits that it can't handle.
So there's a story that one ran on perfume and one ran on tequila. Is that potentially true?
It's very potentially true, especially the tequila one.
Okay.
We have pictures of the president of Mexico with the car.
Okay.
And that one I believe is true.
Okay.
We actually run on kerosene.
Why do you run it on kerosene?
It's easy to get.
Okay. And it's easier
cleaner
than okay.
It's cleaner than unleaded gasoline. It burns better.
What about
Raiders, welcome in. Phalanx, how was your stream? Actually, the car is starting to remind me of those fold-out atomic-powered cars in the 50s and 60s. Welcome in, Raiders. Phalanx, how was your stream? Raiders, if it's your first time here, I'm Lord Rexworth. I'm an English nobleman VTuber. We're doing some video reacts right now, looking at a turbine-powered car from Chrysler that was made in the late 60s. Get you some shout-outs. Let's see. Really good. Democracy and whatnot. Yes, fighting for democracy. Helldivers 2. Everyone make sure that you go follow Phalanx. An excellent streamer. Always fun to watch them play Helldivers. Or Star Trek. Or any of the other games that he plays. An Action Bastard, welcome in. But yeah, I hope you had a fantastic stream. And yeah, if you need to do the after stream care, get up and stretch, grab something to eat, something to drink, do feel free to do so.
You can. It's not really recommended, but you can for lifestyle. The best things you can run them on are JP4 jet fuel, which we were running it on. But after 9/11, it made it harder for my guys to get into an airport to pull up and get fuel.
Sure.
So
yeah.
We just run on kerosene, and it runs clean. You can smell it for sure.
So that is true. They'll run on pretty much anything that combusts. Very cool.
That was really not a byproduct of the program. That was an idea.
Huh.
That was one of the goals. Is to
a
make
genuine flex
it a
fuel vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing I read a lot online related to fuel economy. Is that true that fuel economy is pretty poor?
For 1963, no.
Okay.
It was very.
Yeah, most cars back in those days, fuel economy was shit. There were certain performance cars, like certain Plymouths. I believe I knew somebody who drove a Plymouth back in those days. It was late 60s, early 70s. Sitting idle at a stoplight, they could watch as the fuel gauge just slowly ticked down towards empty. We are talking single-digit fuel economy. But petrol was cheap back in those days, so it really wasn't such a big deal. It was only when the energy crisis happened in the 70s that everyone started becoming fuel conscious and automakers started having that focus towards fuel economy. And then oil prices became cheap again in the 80s and 90s. They stopped caring about it again. They let fuel economy levels go to shit once more. And then all of a sudden, in the late 2000s, oil prices shot up again because of the wars in the Middle East. And all of a sudden you had everybody in this almost permanent state of being obsessed with fuel economy. But, I mean, on the bright side, even over 10 years after the financial crisis and the car apocalypse, we have vehicles that now, on average, most of them get about 25, 30 miles to the gallon.
Its performance and its economy were very close to, say, a 318 engine in another Chrysler.
Very interesting.
You know, you're getting 10, 12 miles a gallon. So today, yeah.
That was fairly decent back in those days.
When they were working it on.
Do you know what the fuel tank capacity is?
22 gallons.
22 gallons?
Yeah, it's a big tank.
It's a big tank. Yeah. So
that
realistically, you're doing over 250 miles on a tank. Okay.
Oh, speaking of cars and fuel economy, did you happen to check out Slate? No.
Very interesting. Another thing I read, we already talked about it, the melt your feet. Simply not true.
Not true.
Okay, good to know.
You can try it today if you want.
It'll melt an ice cream, but maybe not your feet. A lot of folks said that they're pretty underpowered and slow. Is that true? And that there's a big delay between throttle.
It's called turbine lag.
Okay.
When you put your
turbine lag, same as turbo lag. With modern cars, there's a bit of turbo lag with many vehicles that got a small turbo on them.
To start going, there is a noticeable gap. It's not like electric vehicle nowadays where you just shoot.
Yeah.
There is a gap, and what it is, and I'm not an engineer, but it basically has to spool up. It has to get those RPMs up to get going.
Yeah.
So there is a 5-second lag-ish. So it's enough of something that they did call it turbine lag.
Interesting. A lot of folks claim part of the reason that this car never continued in development is it was very costly to build and develop. Is that true?
That's very correct.
Okay.
What I was told by Bill, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, is each engine was about $40,000.
Good God, that would be a fortune. That was a fortune even back then. Raiders, welcome in. Ruby. I bet we can guess what you were up to. But welcome in, Raiders. I'm Lord Rexworth. I'm an English nobleman VTuber. We are... Well, there goes another one. Yep, playing Fortnite. As I thought. That was Fortnite, by the way. My phone glitched. That's alright. It happens. Get you some shout-outs here. Everyone go follow Ruby. But yeah, welcome in, Raiders. We are looking at an old Chrysler turbine-powered car from the 1960s. So Raided to my favorite streamer so I can fix my phone. Fair enough. Hopefully you can get your phone fixed. But yeah, Raiders, if you need to do some after stream care, get up and eat, get up and stretch, get up and drink. Do feel free to do so. We're almost done with this video. I think we might end up capping off our video reacts here.
So you would get a $3,000
about 2 hours in the stream
and pay an extra 40 to get the car, and that's really
God, 40 grand back
like
in the
I mentioned,
60s.
we
That
were
was a
trying to
fortune.
one. The gas economy never reached where the potential they wanted.
Okay.
And the manufacturing cost was never got down low enough to justify it.
And I read a lot about emissions too. Is it true that it's hard to keep them clean?
I don't know anybody ever tried, but it would be not easy.
Nigh on impossible.
The exhaust I told you about, trying to stick a catalytic converter somewhere in the middle of there would be a little different.
But I mean, and I think the last question I have is ultimately why was this car only produced in such limited numbers, and why was the program kind of abandoned?
Well, they were expensive to produce.
Okay.
For an experimental car, they normally make 1, 2, 3, 4. They made 55 of them. So they tried. They put their effort into it, and it kind of served its purpose because it was the greatest marketing campaign in automotive history.
Yeah.
Because all these cars were all over the country, and people were driving them for us in their neighborhoods, and they were showing off what Chrysler can do.
That's
this
really cool.
crazy thing, and you know, it served its purpose. And like I said, they built more. They weren't custom bodied. They were they put a turbine into a Murata and an Aspen, a couple other things.
Sure.
But it just, you know, they got in with the Department of Energy, and that kind of helped the program, but not really. And then what really was the end of it was the dark days of the loan guarantee.
Okay.
You know, there was just no more money for research and development of something like this.
Yeah.
That is, you know, they've been working on since '54, and it hadn't come to market. At a certain point, you have to say we don't have the investment for it.
And Brant, last question I'll bug you with.
Yeah, he's talking about the first Chrysler bailout in the early 80s that Lee Iacocca negotiated with the Reagan administration. And, yeah, terms of that meant they had to kill off pet projects and R&D programs like the turbine car, and their best response to the energy crisis was to go with the K platform for many of their vehicles, which for the most part it worked. I don't know. Chrysler was never the same after that.
That just came to mind that are challenges when you get rid of an internal combustion engine in this era. So for example, like there's no belt drive on the front of the engine. So where do you get your electricity from?
I believe it's battery operated. It's just off the batteries.
Okay.
It has 2 batteries in the back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Does it have an alternator?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What about coolant? There's no coolant in the engine at all.
There's no coolant. There's air coming in. It's air going out.
What about power steering and power brakes?
It has power steering and power brakes.
It does.
Yes.
Interesting. So even though it doesn't.
Yeah, you could tell if you're able to steer that car with 2 fingers like that bloke was doing earlier, you've got power steering. It's obvious. No coolant. That's nuts. Yeah, that's. I mean, they talked about how this was able to create near instant heat for passengers in the interior on cold winter's days in Chicago. But you stick this out in, say, the desert of Arizona or Nevada, I don't know if it's going to do that well. Especially if it gets hot enough out there. I don't know, the exposure to extreme temperatures could be what really does this car in. I don't know if it's built to survive those. At that point, you would want some sort of liquid cooling reservoir attached to your engine to sort of, you know, keep things at a reasonable temperature.
Doesn't have an accessory drive.
Right. They're kind of buried in there in the fenders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. And Brand, if there's one thing you want to leave people with about the legacy of the turbine car, what would it be?
It's the coolest car ever built. You know?
It is pretty cool, though.
Nothing sounds like it. Other companies tried it as gimmicks. We really, I mean, it should be acknowledged that Chrysler put a lot of effort in to an alternate powered vehicle way back when, before it was popular with anybody else.
Yeah.
We're on the forefront of trying new technology, seeing what could work.
Oh, last thing, because Case pointed this out. I read a lot about these being very difficult to start, like an 8-step starting procedure. Is it pretty straightforward, or is there a lot to it?
We hook up the battery and turn a key.
That's it.
Busted!
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been missing 7 of the steps then for all these years.
Yeah.
Because I turned the key.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Brand, thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure. Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
That's pretty cool. Okay. I think I've got some other videos here, but we'll hold off on the rest of them. Just for now. Might save those for maybe another Friday stream, because I know Roya wants to get right into it. We do have a Saturday stream coming up. I will be collabing with Ruby Gemstone. More than likely playing Fortnite, the Lego version of Fortnite. Let me update categories here. Over on Twitch and on Kick. Right, we'll get the game going here. Let's see, game capture, specific window, like a dragon, pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Grab our Xbox controller here. And let's see. Yeah. There we are. Chapter 3, The Old Man in the Sea. Make sure audio levels are good. Let me know, chat, if the game audio is too quiet or too loud. Ooh, some pheasant meat. Good kitty. Been a while since we've played this one. Of course, it's also been a while since I've streamed. Let's see. What do we need to... Okay. How are we doing on cash? Got plenty of cash. Let's see what we can upgrade. We need the reputation points for a lot of this. Let's take a taxi. Levels be good, not 2 seconds after loading the game. Rats to deal with, yeah. Alright. Let's board the Goromaru. Definitely need to expand the repertoire of songs. We need to hear a Goro Majima version of Bakamitai. Let's see, who else should we invite in?
Minna, 飲み物は揃ったかの？改めまして、今日は集まってくれてありがとうさん。それでは、乾杯。
Alright, cool. Why don't we try that again? Completely forgot about the feast. Opti VR, welcome in. Surprised it wasn't a default song in the jukebox. Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Minna, 飲み物は揃ったかの？改めまして、今日は集まってくれてありがとうさん。
It's a Dine with K song.
それでは、
Got it leveled up. Let's see. Let's get Misaki leveled up a bit. Colonel Sister Yo. Etsuko. Natasha. Steve.
みんな飲み物 みんな飲み
Do one more.
Minna, 飲み物は揃ったかな。改めまして、今日は集まってくれてありがとうさん。
Right, no more food for a feast. Let's go out and cook some more. You can throw parties for your crew from the captain's quarters within safe areas. Will greatly increase the invited crew members' morale. Kanpai! No idea what else he was saying, but, you know, that's cool. Alright, crew seems to be in good spirits. Let's prepare to sail. Everyone looked happy, so I assume it was good news, lol. Yes. We are putting anime waifus on our pirate ship. Dragon 8. That looks so cool. Yeah. Figurehead. Let's see, we've got mermaid, we've got dolphins, we've got the shark. We've got mermaid blowing a conch. You've got a Pegasus. We've got giant squid. Really is such a nice feature being able to customize the look of the ship. Hell yeah. Got a bear. And we've got, I guess it's an Oni? I don't know. Go the shark. Rawr. Trimming. If you put any trimming on it, it'll block the waifus. Hell yeah. It's super pink, but we got waifus, so I don't care. Look at that! Runa Sakura. We got anime waifus on our ship. Hell yeah! Truly a classy ship. Hell yeah. We've got waifus on the hull. And we've got ass kickers on the sail. Not exactly a flawless victory, but hey, we won, didn't we? A win is a win. Shark stone. Cool. Santa Claus. Yeah, sure, he's real. Yeah, red-nosed reindeer, the sled, all that shit. Did it for himself. Yeah, we adults, we sort of go out and get our own toys, don't we? Plot twist, Santa's real in the Yakuza universe, lol. Damn.
さっきすげえカモメの大群が俺に向かって飛んできてビビったよ。鳥の進路とぶち当たったんだろうが食われるんじゃねえかと思った。
普段料理してる側やったのに急に立場が逆転。
Nature's getting even.
カモメの逆襲やな。ご愁傷様。
いや食われてねえ。だいたいカモメは普通に作るとあんまりうまくねえからな。うまくするには手間がかかって結構面倒でな。そんなへっぴり腰やがらカモメに舐められんねん。全員チキン南蛮にしたるくらいの気迫見せていきや。気迫では味も鳥の進路も変わらねえぞ。そこを変えるのがお前の仕事やろ。ええからはよチキン南蛮作れんけ。船長、チキン南蛮食いたくなっただけだな。
Yes.
腹減ってきたな。
We want fried chicken.
おもがじパイ。できることをやるぞ。宝探しも楽しいもんだぜ。よしよしよし。
Now, what is this? Lost some components I was delivering. Won't be able to deliver them on time. Ah, you know what? Nice. Legit fear to have. Seagulls act like pelicans in that they'll eat anything, including pigeons and small dogs. Jesus. I don't think they could be that savage. That looks like a Devil Flag's leader. Yeah, let's challenge him. Come on. Come on back, you bastards. Well, shit. Time to super lurk. Alright, thanks. What do you mean game over? Don't give me like shit. Right, to the deck battle. I will say trying to douse the fires and such on the ship is cumbersome as hell, yes. Right, time to show them the power of God and anime. And Mr. Potato Head. Boost the attack by a little. There's the arsehole. He's got the grenades on him. Shit. Does not seem to be as leveled as action was. Well, you know. Nobody's perfect, I guess. I don't know. There's only 3 guys left, yeah. Damn it. have to do the ship battle again, straight to the fight. Yeah. Fucking hell! That takes care of one of the big ones. God fucking damn it. Lure them over here. Alright. Yeah. Whatever. Shit, am I the only one left? They just wiped out my entire crew. Yes, those fucking bombers. Goddamn grenadiers. There's another one. Shut up. Shut up. Shut it up. Got healed up. And fat lot of good it did us. Fuck's sake. Okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore. No, we're not doing this anymore. No, go away. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Fuck your mothers. Fuck your aunts. Fuck your uncles. Fuck your great-grandmothers and your great-grandfathers. Fuck all of you. 10 generations down your family line. A curse upon all of you. Fuck you all in the arsehole with a machete. $120 years later. Is it just me, or did I hear an Englishman cursing us? Yes. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how I just did. Hate those bastards. Melee Island. There we go. Better find out where Shigaki's at. Mm-hmm.
船長、なんかこの人たち本当に知らないみたい。
ああ、せやな。芝居にも見えん。
So some folks here know about the treasure and some don't, eh? Guess everyone being Yakuza doesn't mean they're all best buds.
それより、親父。この間置いてかれて俺ら心に決めたんです。こっからはもう親父のそば離れまへんで。そうです。俺ら二人は真島組の生え抜きです。覚えてないでしょうが、日本からこっちに来る時も俺ら三人一緒だったんですよ。船が巨大イカに襲われた時も。
おお、そうやったんか。じゃあお前ら新垣とはつるんどらんのやな。ええ。
Stonerstan, hello. Been lurking, good sir. We gotta say, give him that pirate rider kick.
名前は南です。南大作。元登場会直系名島組。同じく西田で。以後よろしくお見知りおきを。
分かった。ほな10秒で決めや。俺につくか、それとも志垣につくか。
お？なんでか？志垣と敵味方になるんで。
あっちの出方次第やけどね。
真島さん、よくお戻りで。みんな心配してましたよ。
志垣さん。あんたのセリフ、えらい白々しく聞こえるな。は
あ？聞いたで、志垣。お前ら、ネレ島に来たんはお宝目当てやったんやね。ニューヨークの金貸しにそそのかされたって。
参ったな。急に何の話です？
せやから俺が邪魔やったんやね。日本に帰れ言うてたんはそのせいや。もう見つかったんか？エスペランサのお宝は。
志垣のどうすんだ？全部バレてんぞ。
バカ、黙ってる。
もう今ので決まりだね。
だがそうなるとこれちょっとヤバくねえか。おう。
They're picking up blunt instruments. And they're bringing chainsaws.
っきだってどないした？急にみんな人変わったみたいやな。
そっちが先に煽ってきたんでしょ。真島さ
ん。おかげで話が早なったろ。
ああ、ボランティアの元ヤクザのはずが、どう見ても現役バリバリだ。
五郎丸は丘でもごっついちゅうところ。
The tiger can never really change his stripes. Well, that escalated quickly, moment.
やる気出てくるね。そりゃそうだ。当たり前や。
勝手なこと言ってんじゃねえぞ、この海賊もどきは。ああ、しいだろ。こいつら皆殺しだ。全員吐くれ。
Somehow, still magically having semi-auto. It's the Yakuza game. We don't think about it too deeply.
I
didn't even remember that.
どうする気で？そっちがいきなり俺らを殺そうとしてきたんやで。お前らどうするかはそっちの態度見て決めるわ。
心配すんな。どう転んだって命までは取らないよ。お前らとは違うんだ。
カレーライス美味しかったしね。
タグ。あれの作り方聞く前に、まずエスペランサの情報だ。お宝。この島にあんだろ？もう見つけたのか？
その情報は誰から？
We're the ones asking. Well, and
あ
her.
の女はマッドランティス中に網張っとる。お前、秘密抱えたてした毎晩飲ませとったら空漏れるで。
しょうがないでしょ。こんなつまんねえ島、極道が何日も我慢できるわけねえんだ。あんただってあそこでお楽しみだったでしょ。
まあ、なあ。
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
そういえば、マッドランティスでパレカナの連中に狙われたんや。奴らノアをさらって俺をおびき出しての。けど、どうもわからへん。そこまで俺殺したい理由あるんか？
Yeah, why does Pelicana want us dead?
お前らが白のふりしてたんちゃうが？俺を殺すために。
False flagging.
よう考えたら、あんな顔隠してんのに白って決めつける方がアホや。俺どないや。もうここまで来たら全部白状せ。
I mean, it's a semi-private pirate casino. Kind of hard to resist when there's no R&R on a remote island. Yeah.
あんたも、あんたを連れ戻しに来た冴島も邪魔で、冴島があんたをすぐ日本へ連れて帰ってくれてりゃそれで丸く収まってた。だがあんたは勝手に自分の船で動き回り、いつ帰るかもわかんねえ。そんな時、もしマッドランティスで真島五郎が殺されたとなれば、冴島はネレ島なんざ放り出して事件を追うだろう。それであんたも冴島も消えてくれる。厄介払いするには一石二鳥ってわけで。
Talk about a perfect deduction on my part. On my game today.
あの時のタフなハクは
あいつだ。しくじった責任を取って自分から円弧を詰めようとしたんだが、もうそんな時代じゃねえっつって止めたよ。俺らはヤクザの
Yeah, I don't really go in for that sort of thing anymore.
これ以上失うもんもね。そう覚悟を決めてハワイクンダルまでお宝をつかみに来た。だから、このまま手引く気もねえぞ。
人生大逆転の大博打が海賊のお宝頼み。アホやなお前ら。
Yeah, oh, that's pretty stupid.
気に入ったでしがき。お前はようやっとる。それでこそ男っちゅうんや。
It's just crazy enough to work.
確かにそうかもな。どうも。ただの。こっちのジェイソンとマサルもずっとエスペランサを追っとった。五郎丸のクルーもみんなお宝好きや。せやからの。ここは一人頭きっちり山分けにするっちゅうことで、俺らと手組めんか。
本気か船長。お前こいつらに殺されかけたんだぞ。
人間。
Nah, he playing.
でも間違いはある。
あんたと手組んだら元登場官に分け前取り上げられるなんてことは。
登場会？なんでここで体張っとらんもんに分けなあかんの？
Yeah, Tojo Clan wants it that badly, they can get their asses down here and put in the hard work.
今の言葉を忘れないでくださいよ。
安心せえ。俺は一度吐いた唾は飲み。
It's only stupid until it succeeds, exactly. Alright. Handshake's a handshake.
今日は白の連中はい
ませんよ。島の中じゃほとんど別々に暮らしてるんです。日中は時々俺らが原発ゴミ運び出してんのを見に来るかな。こないだここに連中がいた状況の方が珍しいんです。
ハクたちは島に宝があるって知らない？
ああ連中にだけはバレたくないな。聖地を荒らすなって切れるか、分け前よこせと言ってくるか。どっちもごめんだ。
Yeah, fuck them.
船着き場から連絡が来て、まずいぞ冴島だ。すぐこの村に来る。
あ、そうか、うっかりしてたな。
冴島言うたら確か。
Yeah, he's only a sworn brother.
島野の狂犬、堂島の竜に並ぶ伝説の極道。
Yeah, Dragon of Dojima, Kazuma Kiryu. Kiryu-chan!
あんたを日本に連れ帰りに来たんです。
What, not ringing a bell?
そんなまだ帰らん言うてお引き取り願うまで。
Only a sworn brother.
俺から言ったところであいつは聞かない。だしエスペランサのことは絶対に伏せて。
何ビビっとんのお前。俺ん時
Oh, hang on. That's a sworn brother. Stuff like that, you kind of tend to share.
使いやすかったもんで。真島さん。
Saijima's already headed this way. If you wait at the village entrance, he'll be there soon. Alright. Let's go catch up with our sworn brother.
真島さん、ここにはもうすぐ冴島が来ますが、どうします？
We'll wait right here.
どんなん来るか楽しみやの。
記憶ないんですもんね。でしたら、こいつが冴島大河です。
Yeah, big tanky man.
名前がタイガーだけに。
ほんまか。
いや、これ冗談じゃなくて本当なんです。
Yeah, and it's really cool.
なんや悪いんか。
I mean, normally I'm not one for tattoos, but These blokes. Ah. He's really grown up, hasn't he?
なんやその格好。なるほど。あんたが冴島かいな。聞いとるやろ。俺は記憶喪失での。まだ日本に帰る気はない。しばらくほっといてもらえるか。記憶がない。やっぱ信じられんな。
Feels like a movie or TV show. No, it's just a video game.
本気で言うとるんやな。俺を担ぐ気やったらそろそろ潮時やで。ネレ島から帰る途中船が沈んだんや。危うく死にかけたとこをこのノアに助けられた。ノアと五郎にね。
冴島も強そうだね。うちの船長はずっと無敵だけど。
うん。世の中は広いんや、ボス。ここには無敵を超える強さがある。俺がその証拠や。いいやありゃ。
Objection!
証拠に見えますぜ、裁判長。そっちの記憶喪失のが何倍も疑わしいわ。俺を見ても思い出せへんのか、兄弟。ようだ言うなや、なれなるし。ほな、なくした記憶、すぐ直そう思わんのか。こんな島におってどないすんねん。さっさと日本の病院かかれや。こっちにはこっちの都合がある。来たばっかのあんたに、こんなん言うんは心苦しいんやけどな。無駄足やったで。お帰りはあちらや。何やったの？
ちょ待ってください、冴島のおじぎ。親父は今やりかけの仕事があって、それが終わり次第俺と南で必ず日本に連れ帰りますから。
やりかけの仕事なら日本にもあるやろか。
Still not buying it, eh?
大解散の後始末や。行き場のない国道はネレ島だけやない。日本にも共産おる。全部俺らで動いた結果やないか。お前そのケツ俯瞰で逃げんのか。なんや、まためんどくさいこと言うてきよったで。めんどくさいやと。
Careful.
いくら記憶喪失でもそら聞き捨てならん。アホか。記憶喪失のもんがどうやって聞き捨てならん言葉区別できんのや。そんなんそっちで聞き捨てるんが思いやりっちゅうもんやろ。
お、今のは確かに言えてるで。
おじきも動揺してる。やかましい。上等や。そんなら記憶
Well, we knew this was coming.
脳みそぶったたいて直したら。
How many are out of work that the country is overrun with unemployed former Yakuza? Damn.
そんなもんもんで五郎海賊団は昼間ちゅうこっちゃ。
Little Goro is like zero fucks given.
お前の記憶がない分、どっちが上か遠慮なく蹴りつけられる。なあ、兄弟。兄弟はやめ言うてやろうや。
Yeah, Saijima's so tough, he'll just punch the swords.
そんだけ技見せといてまだ記憶喪失言うんか。しょうがないよ。ようわかった。強く行くとこまで行ったるやないか。
You asked for it.
Yo, くれたな。甘いわ。
Gotcha.
残念やったな。お前の余力ないふりを気づかんふりした俺の勝ちや。
余力ないふりを。ん？気づかん。
Yeah, congratulations. You played each other.
しゃあない。今日は負けとこ。
坊主、わかるか？俺ら今とんでもない場面に立ち会ったんだぞ。
そうなの？
何よ。
冴島のおじきにしょんべん引っ掛けよった。
Zero fucks given.
ゴロ、冴島が嫌いみたいだね。
Doesn't like the competition.
同族嫌悪やな。
There's a blue pun in there somewhere, but not clever enough to make it.
なるほど。この場は全員敵っちゅうわけや。
It's a territorial little thing.
なかったんですがね、冴島さん。
お前にはお呼びでないっちゅう言葉がいっちゃんさしな。この後はどうする？もし俺を解放したら大暴れさせてもらうで。それが嫌やったらここで息の根止めるしかないな。
まさかそんなのできるわけ。
いや言うわ。俺のことは始末する気やったやないか。
いやだからそれはも
う。That's not that far off, you know.
お前どういうつもりや。何企んどる。そっちはほっといたらええ。あんたの目的は俺を連れ戻すことやろ。けど俺にはまだこっちでやることが残っとるんや。それ済ますまでもうちょい待っといてくれ。俺かて記憶は取り戻したくなくもないんや。やり残してなんや。言うてみ。俺はそこのノアに命の恩がある。今俺が生きとるんはその子のおかげで。せやから一つ約束したんや。病弱でずっと小さな島から出られんでいたノアを広い世界に連れ出したるってな。それが約束。せや広い世界で。具体的にどこへ。
I guess you're never really done, are you?
どこまでやったら終わんねん。そらまあノアが満足するまでなあ。とりあえずはネレットを見てマットランティスで遊んで、ホノルルシティ行った時は姉ちゃん母ちゃんにも会うたな。
いけね、ちょっと冷えてきたか。
ごめん父ちゃん、大丈夫だから。
まだノアの旅は始まったばかりや。アホ。それやったらいつ終わるかわからんやないかい。待てるかあんなもん。そこのやつが親父なんやろ。せやったら広い世界はそいつと行かせたらええやろが。お前は日本にもやり残しがあるんや真島。俺らで始めた大解散で行き場をなくした極道たちがまだ大勢いる。そいつら見届けんで一抜けたっちゅうんか。少なくとも記憶なくす前の真島五郎やったらそうは言わんかったはずや。違うか志垣。
No, you're not
日
wrong.
頃からよく面倒いなぁとは言ってましたが。
そうは言ってた。
But he still did it.
ええ、確かに真島さんという人は
No half measures with Goro Majima. Seems I was pretty well respected before I lost my memory. I may have no choice but to go back to Japan. I mean, would that really be so bad? It is Japan, after all.
広い世界行く最初の一歩は助けてくれたろう。十分だ。
そんな。
そんならな、代わりにちょっとした埋め合わせだけさせてもらおう。
Well respected, yes, but also continuously underestimated.
ネレ島のお宝でどうなんや？
それは冴島には内緒だって。
エスペランサの財宝？
そうだよ。そう来なくっちゃ。
不老不死の薬で咳も良くなるかもね。それで埋め合わせになるか？
絶対手に入れるって言うんならなるよ。当たり前でしょ。でもそれまでは俺らといるんだね。
おう、ここまで来て外されてたまるかい。よし、こうなったらもうやるしかねえな。燃えてきたで。やりましょうよ親父。エスペランサの財宝。しゃあ。おう、ちょ待て。そのエスペランサの財宝って何や？
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. Story time.
ああ、誰かこいつに教えとけや。
3 hours later.
真島さん。
Let's call it a day. You guys staying on the Goromaru, Majima-san? Yeah. That's the plan. Take good care of Saejima, okay? There's lots to tell him. Sure. Leave it to me. Talk to Minami at the village entrance when you're ready to head back. He'll prepare a car for you. Got it. I'll meet you on the Goromaru tomorrow. We can talk about what I heard from Tucker. Then we can start searching for the Esperanza's treasure as one big team. Later. See ya. Looks like all the crowds have departed. Buying everything in bulk. It's like shopping at Costco. While we're here, let's do some cooking. Let me cook, chat. Let me cook. Coming soon to Yakuza Costco shopping, lol. That'd be cool. 2 stars. Skim the scum. Did we leave anything behind that was... Nope. We didn't set anything to grow. Take it down to the dock, boss. Ready to go?
Oh.
Yeah, let's ride.
Ah! これが五郎丸でっか最高やないですか記憶なくしてほんの何日かでこれの船長をやっぱすごいですね親父は
Right, nothing to do now except rest up and wait for Shigaki to come tomorrow.
よろしくお願いします
Got Nishida and got Minami on the crew. Hell yeah.
お疲れさん
Everyone's sort of hanging out. Maybe the gem piercings. Definitely not the heart earrings.
それええやん。悪くないの。
Not sure she should be doing those particular radio calisthenics in that outfit. And again, that might not be so bad. Ah, damn. They intentionally shadowed and shaded it out. We can't see her panties. I mean, what? They know their audience. Indeed they do.
Yo. Oh, お疲れ。俺の好みだ。お疲れ様です。
お疲れさん。
お疲れ。
See if we can set out a net.
何がかかるかな。
Oh, good. Got some potatoes. More potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to hit the hay. And through the magic of the internet and video games, it's daytime. Shigaki should be coming to the Goromaru. Time to hear what Tucker told him about the Esperanza's treasure. And we will get into that next time. Let's see who's online right now that we can raid over on Twitch. Let's see, who do we have? Can't believe it's already been a few hours. My nights always fly by. I know, right? Let's see. Will she let us raid her? No. Okay. That's alright then. Plan B. Oh, have we got a treat for you, chat. So, decorated our ship with sexy anime waifus. Now we're going to get to go see sexy video game waifus. Because we're going to raid Hinataki VT, who is currently playing Stellar Blade. I want to get a copy of this game. I must play this game. I must have sexy video game waifus. Which reminds me, I really need to play Goddess of Victory Nikkei again, and soon. So, that's what we'll do. We will go and raid Hinataki. There's a copy pasta for everyone. Go and raid Hinataki over on the Twitch side. For those of you over on YouTube and Kick and Rumble, we'll just be doing a regular sign-off. But, yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. And I will see all of you tomorrow night for more Stardew Valley with Royal Rampage. But we'll go say hello to Hinataki over on Twitch. Do make sure that you follow me across all platforms. LordRexworth.com, LordRexworth.com. And I'll see all of you tomorrow night. I'm Lord Rexworth, wishing you all the best, and God bless.